Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. I tried to do a fair to Midland sort of shot there because the kitties are around somewhere and I didn't want to terrify them. They don't like low rumbly noises, you know? That's just the way cats are. Anyway, look at this. My goodness. Yes, we're wrapping up Prokofiev with this final Proklumpiev here, right here. And there's some really good stuff here. Some really good stuff here. I can't say I saved the best for last, but wow, some wonderful performances that people may not have remembered. Like these, for example, Michael Tilson Thomas. Well, this is all coming back in the soon-to-be-released Michael Tilson Thomas box. But we've got the Fifth Symphony, the Classical Symphony, Lieutenant Kijé, the Love for Three Oranges Suite, the American Overture, Opus 42. When was the last time you heard that? And music from Cinderella, that with Andrew Davis. These are all with the London Symphony or the Los Angeles Phil, and they're really good performances. I mean, nobody remembers them. Nobody talks about them. But yeah, they're really fine. And here they all are in a little Sony twofer, long out of print, I'm sure, but soon to return. Also this one, wow, baby. Leonard Slatkin and the St. Louis Symphony doing Prokofiev Fifth. A first-rate Prokofiev Fifth, one of the great ones, unquestionably. A little bit low level sonically, but if you crank it up, it's just fantastic. And the Classical Symphony with the London Phil is also excellent. This is on RCA Gold Seal. Wow, I haven't listened to these in such a long time. You know, there just isn't time. There's just not enough time in the universe to go through all this stuff. But, oh, I remember them vividly. And my goodness, that's a good Prokofiev Fifth. Then we've got, let's see, Romeo and Juliet excerpts with Abato and the Berlin Phil. Blah. Enough said for that. Really a shame what went wrong with Abato as he got older. You know, he did such wonderful Prokofiev with the LSO, that amazing Alexander Nevsky, and then a really fine Lieutenant Kijé and Scythian Suite in Chicago. And then it all went down the crapper with Berlin. I don't know why. Then we've got Cinderella and the Classical Symphony with Andre Previn of the London Symphony. This was also quite good. Its competition was, wait a minute, I have it sitting here, I know, because for years and years, these were the only ones out there. This one, yes, this one with Ashkenazi in Cleveland, just as the Romeo and Juliet competition was with Mazel in Cleveland on Decca. I personally think that the Decca is the better of the two, but out of both of them, my favorite is the one on CPO with, I think, Mikhail Yurovsky, isn't that who's doing it? Along with all those other Prokofiev ballets. I think that's the best Cinderella. But it's a wonderful ballet. That's why I keep all this stuff, because you can't have too much Prokofiev Cinderella. It's just fabulous. Then there's this one. Oh, this is the Previn Romeo and Juliet, speaking of which is absolutely splendid. Although, again, there was the Mazel Cleveland one. They're very different. This one is sort of warm and romantic and a little bit more languorous. The Mazel is typical Mazel. Cooler, sharper, more rhythmic, unbelievably well played. Maybe a little bit unemotional. I don't know. They're both worth having, because that's what there was back in the day. And then we've got this one. Oh yes, the famous Prokofiev Piano Concertos numbers 3 and 1 with Gary Grafman and George Sell. Fabulous. Just I think we talked about this before. This may have popped up in a previous video. I remember performances. I don't remember how many of them I have. It's, you know, who does? And then we've got Piano Sonatas 2 and 3 as well. It's a great disc. Absolutely one of the great Prokofiev discs. And, oh, this was fun. Skrovichevsky, he did wonderful Prokofiev Romeo and Juliet. In fact, he did it so well, Skrovichevsky, that he did it more than once. Yes, look. So there was this one, Suites 1 and 2, with the Minneapolis Symphony on Mercury Living Presence, and Antal Dorati doing A Night on Bald Mountain. Whereas here, it's Cologne Radio on Denon with Suites 1, 2, and 3, all of them. And they are also wonderful. I don't know what it was about this music that appealed to Skrovichevsky so much, but he had a real feel for it. No question about that. Then we've got, excerpts, not suites, just, random bits tossed together. Well, they're not random. It sort of follows the story. This is with Dutoit in Montreal, and it's quite good. I mean, there's no shortage of really first-rate versions of Prokofiev Romeo and Juliet suites and excerpts, and this is a very good one. It's not something that I return to all that often, but it was too good to get rid of, hence its presence in the Overflow room. One of the great classics, Argerich, doing the third piano concerto with Ravel, G major, and Gaspard de la Nuit. Oh my God! Classic, fabulous, amazing Argerich before she started repeating herself endlessly and not as well. Those are great recordings with vibrato accompanying. And last but not least, how appropriate that we bring our Prokofiev survey to a conclusion with Richter, doing the fifth piano concerto and the eighth sonata and some of the Vision Fugitive. Amazing. Great recording of the fifth. For a long time, this was the only recording of the fifth as a singleton version, and it still is just the one to get. I mean, to hear how the work ought to go. It's with Witold Rovitsky, who was a terrific conductor of the Warsaw National Philharmonic on Deutsche Grammophon. It's just a wonderful work. I've seen the fifth live only once. I'm trying to remember who played it. Was it Lazar Berman? Someone like that. Really, what a good piece. An interesting concerto. The form is interesting. It's not as overwhelmingly tuneful as, say, for example, the third concerto. It's more like the second, but it's just a good piece, and it deserves to be played more frequently. It really, really does. And with that recommendation, we come to the conclusion of our 15-video Prokofiev Overflow Room survey. That's a lot of Prokofiev, but I'm glad I've collected it. It's been such a joy getting to know all this music and all of these splendid and not as splendid performances. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.